You are now listening to the I Think I Love My Wife podcast. And this is your best friend's best friend, Chidozie Okafor, ready to take you on another journey. Are you with me? Because I'm ready. Let's get it. In this episode, we discuss how your strengths and weaknesses impact the business of a relationship, highlight the growth that occurs in serious relationships, examine how love languages impact the way we engage in our relationships, and uncover how to deal with your partner's exes or friends of the opposite sex. So I'm here with Dorian again, and I wanted to make sure that we did one of my favorite parts, which is our round robin quickfire, where we get his short answers to some of the things that people are always arguing or talking about. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
And so, would you say your wife is your best friend?
Absolutely.
Do you think it's necessary for your wife to be a best friend prior to proposing?
Yeah, for sure. I at the end of the day, this is the person that knows your ins and outs, your strengths, your weaknesses, your deepest, darkest secrets, your things that you struggle with. And I just feel like it's important at the end of the day for a successful marriage to be successful. Like, y'all got to be able to be friends first, and this be the person. I mean, this is your life partner.
I feel you.
This is your life partner.
From a love standpoint of prioritization, what is your belief, or what's prioritized? Wife over children or children over wife?
Wife over children.
Okay. Was your wedding worth it financially?
Yes, I guess you said it. Yeah.
You're not sure?
I mean, it was the best day of my life, so yeah.
I'm trying to get all the points. Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, as much as you can tell us, how much did you guys spend on your wedding? You can give us a range.
You want a shorter range now?
Yeah, give me a short range. Give me your range. Like,
I would say
you gotta tell people to a dime.
Between like 30 and 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you had to pick in terms of where you're spending your money, would you spend it on a big ring or a big wedding?
A big ring.
Okay. You said big ring?
Yeah.
At what point does the ring feel big to you?
Price wise?
Price wise.
Man. Once we start hitting that $7,000-$8,000,
once we start getting closer to 5 digits.
Yeah. I'm not there yet.
Okay. Joint accounts or separate accounts when it comes to your current situation?
We're actually combining all our accounts right now.
Every single account?
Every account.
Okay. True or false, guys mature later than women?
To me, that's true.
Okay. Frequency of sex, and we know what the past has looked like before marriage, but now, as it pertains to your expectation and what actually happens, the ranges are all the time, weekly, monthly, every now and then, or whenever I'm lucky. Like, what is your expectation?
Weekly.
And what's the reality?
Weekly.
Okay. So it's spot on.
Yeah.
Who runs the show, you or her?
I was gonna say, I honestly, I would say it's a joint effort. But if you ask her, it's gonna be her.
She lays down the law.
That's what she says.
But you in your head, reserve veto power.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
That's in his head.
Yeah. Okay. No, I mean, certain things I gotta put my foot down, but let her tell it. It's her.
Okay. What would you say is your wife's greatest attribute?
I would say, just her kind heart.
Okay.
Yeah, her kind heart.
And then, in terms of a relationship, what's more important to you? To be loved or to be respected?
To be respected.
Okay, cool. That was simple enough, no hard.
Yeah, to be respected.
Now I want to dive into some of these that you said.
Yeah.
Guys mature later than women?
I do. I do believe that.
And, like, how?
Just out of all, and this is just me, out of all the women I've met, all the guys I've met, a lot of the girls just seem a lot more mature.
But is it maturity, like, in like its, definition of maturity, or is it like how they act in relationships? Because in my head, I'm like, if this dude is going to work and he maintains his job. He gets there on time. He don't have any issues, but he's playing around this relationship. He's mature. He just don't like that's not important to him.
Yeah. Well, I don't look at that. I don't look at it from that aspect. I look at it from more of like just like a mindset aspect.
In terms of what? Like what's going like what?
Life or just like their thought process.
Okay.
You know, I feel like sometimes they're a lot, a couple steps ahead of us, and we're trying to catch up.
That in what aspect? Like as it pertains to a relationship, or in other aspects? Because some people could say, in a lot of cases, they're going off of how they feel.
But it's all circumstantial because and that's not. I'm not saying it like it's law. It's every circumstance.
I'm saying like it's law. I feel like we mature at the same rates, but we keep it going. Yeah. I think we prioritize things differently. Like different things are important to. Just like shopping may be really important to a woman and how she treats that versus a guy with his fantasy football.
I can see that.
And we're like, oh, that's dumb. You playing with action figures and Comic-Con is like, no, it's just important to him. He's still handling it with the same diligence and respect, but like.
I can see that.
But, that's just me.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah.
Okay, moving along. So this whole best friend question.
Yeah.
So you feel like she has to be a best friend?
Has to?
Like in terms of like, it's necessary. Sorry, it's necessary.
I feel like it's definitely important. Because you look at it like this. This is the person that you're truly doing life with.
True, but what if she hates all the things that you like?
Oh, me and my wife we have a lot of differences.
So then how like you think about your best guy friend and all like y'all just sitting next to each other and the stuff that y'all can talk about, do together, blah blah.
But even then, like now we're at different points now.
I mean, she's your wife now, so I get it. But
no, I mean beyond like, but we're at it's just a different level.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, because we definitely got a lot of differences.
I had someone argue the fact that your wife or your partner can never be your best friend because the simple category of friend is not on the same level as your wife or your husband. And the best is essentially a qualifier. Like that's like saying we're pretty good friends or we're decent friends. This is a qualifier of what type of friend this person is. Mm-hmm. Your husband and wife should always be above whatever that is, a friend level. So what's your thoughts on that? Different take on it, but
it's an interesting perspective. Never thought of it that way, but
Dorian, like, it's interesting. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, I've never thought of it that way, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, at the end of the day, this person should be your friend.
He said, "In my household, we biffles."
Yeah.
Okay. The other one you said was to be respected or to be loved. Why to be respected?
Because I felt like, and this is just me, especially, from my past and things like that, I felt like that was the thing that kind of fell by the wayside is, my respect. And as a man, it just goes biblically. A wife is to respect a man, and that the pastor, who officiated our wedding, that's how he spoke on, like, a wife's only true job is to respect her husband. She's not even supposed, she doesn't even have to love her husband per se, but she is supposed to respect him. And I just feel like as a man, it's important to have that respect. And if I get that respect, that love will come.
Hey, I totally agree with you. And I was happy that you said it because I think most people that I've talked to so far has said to be loved.
Yeah.
And I think the rationale is that like respect comes with love.
Yeah.
And I'm like on the same lens that you. I think I've heard someone say similar boats in terms of what the Bible says, as well as like it is harder in terms of what our innate ability is. Women are more loving creatures and, they're pettier. So like the respect thing is different.
Yeah.
And guys are more like when they see another guy, like I respect you, you know, and the love, compassion part of it is harder. And I also feel like sometimes we don't treat the people that we love the best.
We don't.
And we take them for granted.
For sure.
And so for me, same boat, maybe it's the Nigerian culture. It's like when you respect someone, like there's a level of love that has to be there.
Yeah.
And there might be more love when it's your husband or wife, but there's a level of love that has to be there, because despite how you feel in your love, if you're pissed or not, if you respect them, there's certain things that you will and won't do. Exactly. As it relates to them. Yeah. Versus like, I just love them, but like you may disrespect someone you love. But if you always respect them, there is a bar. It's like your boss, right? If you put your boss in this kind of category, there's certain things regardless of how you feel, you're going to treat them to that certain level, right? Mm-hmm. And that's how. And so I agree with you on that, because I think there's a different level of how your actions follow when you respect someone versus love them.
Absolutely.
Cool. And so I wanted to touch on some of the things that you mentioned in the sense of, you know, you guys have been married 3 months. You guys still kind of figuring it out. Yeah. How has the conversation, if it has come around roles and responsibilities, how has that been, and what does that look like?
I feel like the roles are, you know, we never sit down and be like, okay, I need you to do this and you do that, you do that. I love to cook, so naturally, you know, I cook majority 90% of the time. You know, I try to, you know, she'll pick up or we'll do it together. You know, she's better at handling the bills. So it's just like, it goes back to communication. Like, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? And okay, you're better at this, so you're going to captain that. I'm better at this, so I got this. So it's just like playing to your strengths and your weaknesses, and who's better at what.
So when it comes to that, let's say, you know, you like to cook, you're cooking primarily. Yeah. Is it a function that she doesn't like to do it or can't do it as well as you would like?
No, it's when she can cook. It's she rather not.
Is it like a time thing or is it like an effort thing?
You know, if I ask, I'll be like, hey, babe, could you? But hey, I really liked it when you cook this, and she'll cook.
Gotcha.
But I just, you know, I mean, we just remodeled our kitchen. Like, you know, so
you're like, this is my baby.
This is my domain. Like yeah, I'm in here. So, you know, it's so funny. Like when she's in there cooking, because I'm just like, I feel like I'm like, all right, what are you doing?
Why are you
like,
in my space?
Why you putting that there? Type thing. Like it don't go there. So, yeah, I think it's just it's not really out of I want her to do this, or like it's just more like.
Do you have like fear? Not fears is too strong. Are there any kind of concerns of like when you have kids, like because it's just you guys to maintain that level of cooking by yourself? If that's your primary, you know, thing.
Is there any fear, like for me, like
just like sharing that load, because that load increases dynamically when you have a team of kids and they got to eat.
I do times. Like I'm confident in knowing that. You know, because I you know, I'm really trying to change my eating habits. Trying to really limit like eating out. So, you know, and that's one of the things that I'm trying to get her to adapt.
Get more buy-in.
Yeah. Especially like you might know like how she is with French fries. Like,
hey, we fans of it,
man. It's ridiculous.
We're fans of it.
It's ridiculous, but. I'm trying to get that buy-in from her of like, you know, especially when we have kids, you know, if there are times where I can't cook or I'm not there, that she could do the same thing.
And so I'm staying on cooking because it's like an easy thing to talk about. Yeah. And I'm sure this plays a role in other aspects where you're trying to figure out how do we operate. Mm-hmm. But let's say it doesn't change. Are you just good with that, or you just got to eat it?
Good with me cooking majority?
Majority, or like her?
Oh, no, I'm good because I actually enjoy it.
Pouring in and out.
I actually
eating French fries when you're not around, and French fries for dinner. With
you know, I'm you know, I probably have I feel a certain way about that.
Dorian, like we're gonna have leftovers.
No, better
whip my kids up some food.
Yeah. But no, I actually enjoy cooking. So, but I always make that joke like. Let me be out of town. I already know my kids gonna eat French fries and like some trash all week.
And what's her response to that?
She laughs.
So she just takes it as
she knows it.
Like,
she knows it.
Okay.
Yeah, she knows it.
What are other? I know you said you guys don't. You don't really. You guys didn't really have the conversation about it, but how have you guys like delineated what you guys do? And it's not just pertaining to like the business of the relationship, but just in general, like when it's traveling, who takes care of what, or do you guys just fall into those roles, or is there a conversation? Because I'm sure there's going to be a point where there's something that neither one of you guys really like to do, but know like it should be done or has to get done. And so how do you guys address those type of situations?
If it's travel, it's typically me trying to like put those things together because I feel like I'm a better planner. That's just me. But honestly, I feel like a lot of things, it just kind of falls into place.
Is she a person that kind of, I guess, especially where her strengths lie, just goes and does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's not something like you have to like, hey, what are we doing here? She's already just gonna.
Yeah, it's already there. It's already taken care of.
And you feel like it's occurring in enough places where it feels relatively equal.
Yeah, for sure.
Balance.
Yeah.
How would it be if it wasn't that way? Like, let's say you felt like maybe she's proactive in the things that she knows she does well, and that generally is important. They're probably fewer and further in between, importance, right? And so when it comes to like the broader set of things that need to happen, you're doing your part, and then there's a gap, right? So how would that be something you could navigate through? Would it be something that you feel like you have to work through, or is like a deal breaker? If it's like you have to be the person that's motivating to get these things done.
I don't think it's necessarily a deal breaker, but it's definitely a conversation. Because there's been scenarios where I felt like certain things should have been done, they weren't done. So we got to figure out why. So I think it goes to communication. It's a conversation.
So let's say you have the conversation, you understand, okay, it didn't happen for whatever reason, move forward.
Yeah.
2 weeks later,
same thing happens.
Is it another conversation?
Oh, I'm frustrated for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely frustrated, but yes, another conversation.
All right, conversation, we understand it. You think she understands it. A week and a half later, is it something you just keep working towards, and you just have to be paid? Like, and I'm asking these questions because I think sometimes people don't realize the work.
I think so. So naturally, my natural ability is just going to be to do it, but then it's going to be another conversation, and then it just, like I said, like I said, we still learning.
Yeah,
we still new.
Yeah.
But everybody, like, it's work. Like, everybody we talk to, a marriage is a job. Yep. It's truly work. Like I said, you're two flawed people working to become one, and you take on that other person's, if it's debt, if it's bad habits, if it's whatever it is, you take that on. So now you got to navigate through all that. So yeah.
What I guess in my head I'm trying to think about, sum this up a bit. How would you say your wife has matured and grown in your relationship?
How has she matured
and grown? Yep. Like, what are things that you recognize and know she's had to learn and pick up to be better for the relationship?
I think she's more willing to. Now, there are certain things, you know how she is with boundaries. There's certain things she's not gonna budge on.
Like, still, y'all married.
Still, but they're like, they make sense, like not to budge on.
Can you give me an example? Because I think about boundaries in the context of like premarital and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna cheat on me. So now that y'all married, it's like, everything's free, all game. Like, what's an example?
Like, I would say like an ex reaching out.
Oh, okay.
Like, what? Like, why we need to talk type thing.
Okay.
But I would say there's certain things that she might have been like a little apprehensive to, or I'll give you an example. Before we got married, she was really big on like guarding our eyes to like sex scenes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like to me, it was funny at first.
Yeah, in the movies that cover.
Yeah. Like she'd be like, "Don't look," but I kind of got the idea of like why she did that, because that's the only reason she was able to
get to where she's at.
She's at. But now that we're married, it's a little different.
Yeah, she's still like.
I mean, she might joke about it, but it's like it's just we can actually enjoy certain things together, and that's just one example. So it's certain things that she might have been like, "What are you doing?" Or like, "No, we don't need to do that. We don't need to watch them. We don't need to listen to that." Prior to the marriage, it's a little different now.
Okay, and so you said something that made me think about it. So what is her perspective? And I get firm boundary. Your ex don't need to hit you up for nothing. Mm-hmm. Don't matter what.
So I've had exes hit me up.
Why y'all been like what? Dating, engaged,
married?
Okay, and how did that? Do you tell her?
Yeah, I tell her.
So such and such hit you up. Let's say it's nothing, and it's not like on some reoccurring stuff. Yeah. You like, hey, such and such hit me up, or you just keep it going like it was nothing. Why do you do that?
I just want her to be comfortable and be her open and honest. Like, hey,
do you feel like she needs? Because I'm curious, because in my head, and I'm sure other guys, they're like, do you even? It was nothing. Yeah. If she read it and saw it on accident, there would be nothing to be like concerned about. Or do you? So you don't say it, or they're also thinking like, oh, I show her, now it presents an issue, even though you did nothing wrong. Yeah. That could have been avoided if I didn't say nothing.
So with her, she'll look at the topic like, okay, why they hit me up? And then she'll look at the response. Did I leave an open-ended response? Was it just okay, thank you type thing?
Emoji, smiley face.
Yeah, if it was like how did I respond? Yeah. Like how did I respond to make it seem like it was more than what it was? So, I try to like, hey, such and such hit me up, or I just show her the phone
as it happens, or when the conversation. Over?
It might not be. I mean, because we might not be by each other when it necessarily happens, but if I've already responded, I'll just show her the phone. I mean, she got my passcode, so
yeah. And so in that situation, if she saw it, if she was curious and saw it, and she read it, and nothing like you said it was. I
mean, because I'm gonna be honest with you, there have been times I just forgot.
True.
I mean, because I have a horrible memory.
Did it come back up, or she saw it?
She might have saw it, like, you didn't tell me. I'm like, I forgot.
But part of that is you created a habit. That you created a standard, like, we show it.
Yeah.
But, okay, and that's fair. So I think that's different in the sense of, it's like calling. I call you every day, and then I didn't call you for 2 days. Like, it's a problem. Not that you had to call, but you've already established this protocol.
But, and then it also goes, like, she's, like, adamant about if one of her exes or anybody from her past hits her up, she always shows me, right?
Is that something that you want, or she just does?
She just does.
Okay. So do you feel like you had to because she does it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to figure out, because
for sure.
In my head, I'm like, if you're showing her the text, then obviously you didn't do nothing that would cause concern, right? So
I show her kind of in response to, because the way she is.
Got you.
But I also kind of see the benefit of it, because like, I'm not doing nothing out here to really jeopardize my marriage. So, or even that before then, my relationship. Yeah. So, are
there situations where people are hitting you up frequently?
Nah.
So most of them are just blue moon.
Is definitely blue moon.
Okay, cool. Got it. What's her take on like you and female friends? And I know hers might be warped because she has some guy friends. Yeah. Like really close guy friends. But like, what's her? She don't know. I don't know what your history is with female friends. So.
Oh no, I got a couple, but they're like sisters, kind of like y'all relationship.
Yeah,
same thing. But she knows that. Yeah, like she's seen our interaction. Like she knows. Like she's good with it.
And so great segue, because I wasn't even thinking about this, but some people advise you like, hey, once you get married, friends of the opposite sex, cut them off. You don't need that temptation or that liability, even if y'all just cool. Like, there's no point to like allow like something to potentially ruin your relationship. Yeah. But there are some relationships that are very, very much very close in nature. You know, they're looking at you like a really, really good friend, sibling to some degree. Yeah. How do you know, what are your thoughts in general, and how did you create a space so that like she knows what it is? Because sometimes people seem like no. And part of it is because how the guy was moving with it that created some doubts. And so how do you, if a guy or a woman has like a really, really close friend and doesn't want to have to pick my relationship or my friend, how do you create a space so that person feels comfortable with that relationship?
I think for us, you know, the I guess the quote unquote, I don't look at my female friends as friends. I look at them more as sisters, right? So, and I think what made her more comfortable is all those friends are either married or in relationships. Like, that's not it. You know, like, these people truly have my best interests at heart. And she saw that firsthand. Like, oh, okay. Like, there is nothing between, like, it truly is like a brother-sister relationship. Like, that's family type thing. So, but she had to recognize that and see that for herself. So it's like,
you have to give her the opportunities to see.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah, you have to give her the opportunity. You gotta, I mean, because she can pick up on things pretty quick. She's a psychologist, so you know she was able to see the real pretty quick. Like, oh yeah, there ain't nothing here.
Would it be different if they weren't married?
Like, married,
if they were single? Has she seen the same things, but they just single?
Would it be different as far as? No, I don't necessarily think it would. She would just have to see it.
Gotcha. So it's less about what their situations, but more like, and I think what I'm gathering from you is that you have to be open about those relationships and allow them to see you coexisting in it, to know.
You have to be transparent. You have to be open. Like, you know, what I try to do is I try to get them to connect together.
You're like, I want y'all to be friends too.
Yeah, exactly.
We can stay friends.
Like, yeah, like y'all could do whatever y'all don't need me type thing. Like, let you know, like, I want you to let your guard all the way down because it's not needed.
And just of what you've learned and what you, I guess, systems that you guys subscribe to, could that be possible with the next? Let's say like y'all do whatever, but like at this point, it is clearly nothing there on both sides, or is it like just don't even? Because there's some people that have relationships with someone, boyfriend, girlfriend, they break up, the recognition that they're not the right person for either of them, but they still are close. Yeah. But there's no like real intention. So what do you say to that?
Honestly, I just feel like you're playing with fire.
Even if like dead ass, there's nobody that wants anything.
I mean, because I think it goes back to, I mean, at one point in time, you shared some form of intimacy with this person. So that's
but in some degree, like,
I mean, but how you looking at it, there are some circumstances. I think it's circumstantial.
True. And so let's just assume there's a circumstance. I don't think you go looking for it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And if that presents itself, you might be cautious, right?
Yeah.
And so let's say your wife has a really good friend. Mm-hmm. Let's say me, because you know me. Yeah. Let's say me and your wife used to date at one point. Mm-hmm. And we stopped. I ain't checking for her. She ain't checking for me, but we're still cool. Every now and then we like link up, whatever. Mm-hmm. What would she need to do to make you feel comfortable about that? Like, what would it take? Because people fall into that situation, and are you just like, no, it doesn't even matter?
At where I'm at now, it doesn't matter. Just because, what's the point? But, and
So when y'all started dating,
it took me a while to even get to this point.
So as y'all were dating and like you're like, well, she was honest. Like, this is my ex from way back college.
Yeah,
we're 30.
Yeah,
he's cool. We all hang out, and when I say hang out, it's rare that is like a hangout you and her.
Yeah,
like me and her.
Yeah.
So it's usually group settings. Every now and then he may hit her up to check up and vice versa. Would that take a lot for you to get over, or would you be like, nah, I can't do it?
Nah, that would take me a minute to get over. Okay. Like,
would you put her in a position where she had to pick, or would you? And I guess it depends on what you were seeing, right?
Yeah.
But I think what I'm gleaning from your facial expressions is that you would need to observe it and see.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, it's so funny how when you're put in that same situation, like, you know,
turn it around.
when the tables turn, like, how would you react? So it's like I kind of see where she's coming from. Like, no, like, you know, what do y'all need to talk about? Or like, I don't get the relationship. I don't get the point. So yeah.
I think at the end of the day, it's all circumstantial.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if I'm taking anything away from it, if there are relationships outside of your, you know, friendships, I should say, outside of your relationship that have the potential to cause some animosity, it's like best to be upfront about it and provide as much exposure to it, so that person can also develop their own independent relationship with that person, than trying to like make it.
And you also, I haven't had to deal with this, but there are some people that are, you know, some guys that I'm real close with that their wives didn't like, if it was a female friend or if it was a associate, whoever it was. If they didn't like them, it's them or your wife.
It's a wrap.
So
in this,
you got to be willing to accept that. Like,
okay. So in your situation, you say you had a couple of female friends that are now like sisters to you. Mm-hmm. You try to bring them around in the fold early so she would know what it is. Mm-hmm. Let's say she met them and she just like stank and like just, I don't like them. Her boundary is, for whatever reason, not that anything's wrong, her boundary, we talked about boundaries, is I don't want you having any female friends. Like, what would you have done?
Yeah, that might have been one of the toughest things I had to deal with. I mean, because these people I've known for life.
I feel you, yeah.
So,
and I'm like, and I ask you more from my curiosity because she's one of them.
Yeah.
I have a good number of female friends that these are people that have been with me in the trenches.
Yeah.
And in some relationships, especially until marriage, you don't know what it's going to be. So if I'm starting treating you a certain way because of this, how do you prioritize what's important to you? And I think sometimes it's premature for someone to ask that of you if they haven't seen anything, but some people do. And so what do you do?
Man, like I said, that's a tough one. But it's
you got your riders here. And you got someone that could be your soulmate. You're not 100% sure. You haven't married the person yet.
Yeah.
And so, but, you know, there could be a soulmate. What do you pick? And is it fair to be put in that position?
I don't think it's a tough one all around just because, like, you know, you don't, for all you know, this relationship might not work.
Yep.
And you could jeopardize a relationship that you've had for life. So, but I think it all goes back to you need to truly set the boundaries and like, hey, this is this person. I need y'all to meet. And that was the thing I was intentional about. Like, hey, I want you to meet this person. This is my sister. I want you to see the interactions between us.
Oh, that's real. Yeah.
Like, there's nothing beyond like a true friendship. No, and if that person is not susceptible to that, then they're showing some signs of insecurities within themselves.
Yeah, you need to look into.
Exactly.
Not that that's fair. I think I think there is a responsibility in situations like that for the person that has the friend to be upfront about providing exposure.
Yeah.
To the friend. I also think that, and I see both sides of it. I feel like there's some friends got to know, like, hey, you're always gonna be a friend, but I got to prioritize this because I'm doing potentially forever with this person. And I also think that the friend has to, if they want to keep that relationship, has to do things to make the other person feel safe. So like when they text you or they call you, hey, such and such there, till I said what's up or till I said hello. Yeah. You know, so that they know like there's a recognition.
Yeah, I mean like with my sister. I talk to my brother-in-law more than I talk to my sister. Mm-hmm. But that's just I just know her. Yeah. She's been like that forever. So I don't feel no certain way about it. Mm-hmm. You know. Like my wife. How often have you talked? Like, when the last time you talked to her?
It's been a minute, but there's times when we talk more often.
Exactly. So it's like, you know, as friends, you have to have that respect. Like, they're at a different space of life now. Yeah. Like, they're married. They have their primary.
If they're friend, they're going to respect the relationship as well, and
you
know, unless it's an emergency, not call.
Yeah, for sure. Like, but if it's a true friendship,
yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, you're right.
You know, like, yeah,
you're right. I give you that.
And as a, I guess, a husband and the other spouse, you know, it's important that you respect those friendship as well. Like, when was the last time you just talked to such and such? Or like, that person was here before. How's this person doing? Yeah. That person was here before me. Like, fair. Don't because I'm here.
You don't lose your life.
Don't lose life that was before you. No, before me.
That's fair. That makes sense. We didn't get into it on your end. We talked about it for your wife. How have you grown and developed and matured in your relationship?
With
your wife?
With my wife?
The only relationship that matters.
Yeah, it is. Man, I've grown. I think it's how I've grown and where every decision that I make now, it's how does this affect me and my wife? It's not just Dorian, you know. And I think that's the most important thing. I've every move I make, every step I take, it's all about me and my wife now, and how this affects us. How does this better us? What am I doing to improve our marriage? So, she's made me just conscious of just the moves I've made. And she's made me just truly believe more in myself.
Okay. You talked about earlier love languages. Yeah. Just as I wrap up, just some quick things that I want to touch upon. You know, what would you say your love languages are?
Mine is the acts of service.
And what would you say hers is?
Hers is no. Excuse me. Mine's is hers is acts of service. Mine is, man, I've been drinking.
Is it
words of affirmation? Words of affirmation. Yeah.
And so in that, how do you guys, you know, love each other the way you want to be loved?
So if she comes home and the house is clean, like, or if whatever it is I do, like, she's satisfied, you know. And it's one of the things where she's great at affirming me, but she struggles when I'm looking for it, if that makes any type of sense.
So you're like, hey, how you like my outfit?
Or it's like, how was the food?
Oh, got you. Like, she wants to do it more naturally.
Yeah, she was just like, oh, this was good. But like, I'm looking for like more.
Trying to set her up for a lob.
Yeah. Like, and that's where she struggles.
No, I feel you. Because it doesn't feel as authentic.
Yeah, exactly.
I know you want me to say something.
And, you know, it's so funny because it's like, you realize how you see like your parents in yourself. Definitely. And it's like, I just remember like my mother and grandmother, like, how was it? Or like constantly telling me. So it's like, now I'm like, so how was it? Was it good? Like,
no, we are the product of how we were raised. Like, I am my father's son.
Yeah.
No matter how much I want to deviate from it, no matter how much certain things I used to fight him on, those are things that are now important to me.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's called raising your child.
Yeah.
That you get some of these things ingrained to them.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Keep going. So tell us why you got married.
I honestly, I think it was one, like I said, it was one of those things it was time. I think it was when you find someone that you honestly feel like God created for you, and this person provides you with everything that you've been seeking. That was why I got married. You know, she was kind of like, I got 75% down, you know, 75% there. She brought me 25% home. Cool. It was like she completed me, like, honestly, you know. And like I told you before, you know, we have a lot of things that are opposite, but all those opposites really were some of the things that I was missing.
You needed.
Exactly.
No, that's real. What does it mean to be a man in a relationship to you?
To me, a man has you know, it's has nothing to do with what the world says. You know, the world says the man is supposed to be the provider, the financial provider. Yeah, you're supposed to be a provider, but you know, the world says the man is supposed to be the, you know, the head honcho, the big kahuna. No. It's being able to lead, being able to, it's just truly being able to lead in various aspects of your life. Being connected to Christ, to me, is the most important thing. And I feel like as a man, we have to be aligned. We have to be aligned to Christ, and the only way that our wives are going to follow us is if we're aligned. And once we're aligned, then our wives are aligned to us, and then the kids follow and are aligned to the wife. And if we're doing everything the correct way, then we are the man of the house. And I think it's just the way you walk, you talk, it's just your demeanor. Honestly, yeah. It all goes through communication. It has nothing to do with what the world says. Honestly.
Okay. What advice would you give your son on dating? Let's say he's like 15, 17, 20, whatever age. Like he's old enough. Mm-hmm. Like, what advice would you give him?
The advice I'm going to give is probably some advice I never thought I would, honestly. Okay, I'm ready. And that is save yourself.
And what does that
for
mean?
Marriage.
Like, okay.
Like save sex for marriage. I didn't realize how much it complicated things until I took that out of my relationship. And I was able to truly develop a friendship and truly develop a relationship with my wife. And like I said, I've been around, like, I was out here, I was out here for a minute, but that didn't get me anywhere.
Yep.
So it's like, and then, it's not only important to just have good friends, but have people to pour into you. Surround yourself with good people. And I think that's so important. And, I'm fortunate enough to have really good friends, but it's, you got to have people to pour life into you, and truly want the best for you, and gonna hold you accountable when you feel like you've fallen short of your potential. So
that's real. And on the flip side of that, it may not be the flip, but what advice would you give your daughter on dating? And she's 15, 17, 21, 30.
Don't lose sight of yourself. I feel like that's one of the biggest struggles that a lot of these young women, they let their standards go for somebody that they're attracted to, and they end up getting bit by the wayside. So it's like, long as you stay consistent and you don't fold in certain situations, you're going to find that person that's meant for you. you know, you're going to be able to see who's not meant for you. And you got to be able to just be mindful, like, okay, I'm good enough with myself to recognize that person's not meant for me. And when that person who is truly meant for me comes along, I'll know.
Wise words of wisdom. I know it's only been 3 months of marriage, but I appreciate you for your time and the words and things that you've shared. I hope as your marriage grows and your family grows that we get to bring you back to talk about those new challenges and experiences. Thank you to everyone that is listening with us. I hope you found this valuable. I hope you found it entertaining. Please send any questions, topics, situations that you want feedback and perspective on to @ThinkLoveWife on Instagram. And I'll make sure that we bring Dorian back. I'll have something for us to sip on. And I'll make sure I bring your questions so that we can provide as much perspective as possible. This is really one of my favorite parts of doing this podcast, where we really get to engage with the audience and the listeners and allow them to really be able to communicate with us and get some perspective, get some insight on how they can better incorporate these lessons learned in their own personal or romantic relationships. Thanks again for listening to us and participating and subscribing, and I hope you all keep the conversation going.